say okay?
She yelled something, yeah.
Right? Just have like the red light. I'd like to open the Town of Wappingers Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for January 28th, 2025. Can you please stand if you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Hey, could I please have a roll call?
Mr. Hernandez?
Here.
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mr. Deanna?
Here.
Mr. Lorenzo?
Here. Thank you. Acceptance of the minutes from January 14th, 2025.
I'll make a motion, we accept it.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And so passes. Public hearing. Frank and Karen Lafriere, seeking an area variance of section 240-37 of district regulations in an R40 zoning district, where no more than 2 accessory structures are permitted on a residential parcel. The applicant has 4 accessory structures, thus requesting a variance for the legalization and to allow for the structures to remain. The property is located at 38 White Corners Lane and is identified as tax grid number 6257-04-848200 in the town of White Wappingers. Ms. Lafriere, please, could if you just come up to the microphone? I have to open a public hearing. Motion it.
I'll move it.
Can I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Please tell us what you need and why you need it quickly.
I need the permits, right, for the extra 2 buildings that are, they're not really buildings, they're sheds-like type things that are on the property. And the gazebo, no, well, the gazebo's a second, that's 1 and 2. Okay, 2 sheds in the gazebo, okay. I'm lost. The 2 sheds in the gazebo.
Well, 2 sheds, gazebo, pool house.
And the pool house, yeah, the pool house, it was all,
But they're allowed 2, so they're looking for variance for 2, correct?
yes.
Yes.
Right.
So we were out there Saturday, took a walk around the property, saw the 2 sheds, saw the gazebo, saw the pool house. Beautiful piece of property sitting up on the hill there.
Thank you.
Very nice. I have no questions for the applicants, if anyone else does on the board.
The lot size is 6 acres, correct?
6.2.
6.2.
Yeah, it's 6.2, yeah, or 7,
Okay.
I thought, I don't know.
And I think we discussed this. If the 2 sheds were connected into 1 shed,
They
they would still be
below
within the
standard.
area allowed for shed structures.
Correct.
You know, like the way I'm looking at this, you know, that metal gazebo feels temporary. You know, I think we discussed potentially approving that, and if it ever had to be replaced, you know, the replacement would have to meet current code, which wouldn't really impact you. You know, the 2 sheds, again, I think they're aesthetically pleasing. I understand why you put them where they did. It was kind of rocky between them, you know, so they really couldn't have been one large structure.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, the pool house is kind of a necessity for use of the pool equipment. I don't personally have a problem with that. You know, the site is remote and large. You can't see it from really anywhere.
It's like there.
The plastic house, the play structure, we're not counting.
You have to let her know that we're 1 short.
Oh, you're right, thank you.
The kids' little cabin.
yeah.
The little tykes.
Yeah, we don't count the little tykes.
It's plastic, little tykes.
That does not get counted.
I actually have to apologize. We are 1 member short tonight, and you have a right to adjourn your matter for a full board if you'd like, because if it happens to be a 2-2 vote, that's a no. So I just have to advise you that you have that right, but if you want to go forward, we can absolutely go forward. Okay, very good. Does anybody else on the board? Anyone in the public have anything they would like to add, question, come up and talk to us about? No, entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Move it.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, can I either have a motion to allow or disallow this
I'll
variance?
make a motion to allow. Being that you have such a private piece of property, the metal roof on the gazebo, we're calling it, that's iffy, and we will put some stipulations in it that the new owner would have to go through this all again.
Okay.
Does that just about cover it, Barb?
Just to make sure the record's clear, the new owner would have to go through it again if they were to replace or add another structure. They don't have to do it for this
They don't have to do it
variance.
right now, they have to
No.
do it if they were going to
If they
replace
were to
the...
do something in the future. Right.
Okay,
I would just note that the lot area is a contributing factor in approval.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, are you going to read all the,
Well, no, I don't think I have to.
I think you should.
Okay.
Put them all on the record, please.
Okay, there's no undesirable changes to the neighborhood. The request is substantial, but being that it's so private, and we put stipulations in it, we're going to agree to it. No adverse physical or environmental effect on the neighborhood. Is it self-created? Yes, but what are you going to do? I'll make a motion that we approve it.
Could I have a second, please?
I second.
Can I have a roll call, please, B?
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Denaro.
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes. So your variance has been granted,
Thank you.
and you're free to go,
thank you.
okay? I don't believe there's any, do they need to do,
Did we condition it?
Yes. So any future changes
We have to leave
to the structures would have to meet the current code or come back for a variance. Is that
The
okay,
the
gentlemen?
current owner would have to come back if they made any changes or
Right.
anything.
They don't have to do anything
If they wanted to
now.
do something or,
Right.
So, I mean, I think that applies to all, all structures, right? If they decide to take down the two sheds, they would then need to come back and get approval for the number of structures they have.
Okay. So tomorrow, B has to do some work, and then it goes to me, and then we'll get your permit. So you're done, and we'll call you when the permits are done. I think my staff's been out there already.
Yeah.
So I can't promise you, but I think we'll be able to just go right to COs. We'll try to expedite this for you since you're selling.
okay, great, thank you.
You have
Good
a-
luck.
Thank you very much.
Good luck,
Thank you.
folks.
Thank you. Well,
Have a great evening.
Make an announcement to the board. I want to let you know how appreciative I am of everything you guys are doing, and your office and your staff did, and you did for us. We really appreciate it. I didn't want to leave the town.
No.
I can't do the yard work anymore, I can't do the house anymore, I can't do any of it. And we're really upset that we have to leave, but knowing that the town is that good to back the citizens of the town, I greatly, and my wife greatly appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
thank
you're
you.
welcome,
You're
sir.
welcome, very welcome.
We wish you well.
And good luck with your future endeavors.
I would go warmer, though.
Thank you.
I would go warmer.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Be safe.
Have a good night. Okay, that was our one public hearing for tonight. Now, for discussion, appeal number 257839, area variance. Charles Augustus Kless Jr. and Brianna K. Troy, seeking an area variance, section 24037, district regulations in an R20 zoning district. When accessory structure cannot be more than 800 square feet on an acre of land, the applicant is seeking a variance for a 1,400 square foot, a 30 by 40 garage, and a 10 by 20 overhang, thus requesting a variance of 600 square feet. The property is located at 9 Regency Drive and is identified as tax grid number 6357-01-040670 on .95 acres in the town of Wappingers. Good evening, sir. Could I please have your name and address for the record?
Good evening. My name is Charles Kless. I reside at 9 Regency Drive, Wappingers Falls, New York.
And if you could, please, just tell us what you're seeking and why you're seeking it.
Yeah, I'm just looking for an area variance to build a 30 by 40 garage with a 10 by 20 foot overhang.
And the need for the garage is?
Just extra space. We had a kid last year, and we're just running out of space real fast. Housing market doesn't really allow for us to relocate at the current time being, so that's the reason.
Could you tell me the size of the footprint of your house?
Footprint of the house, 40 by 40.
40 by 40?
Yep.
Hey, do you have a site plan that shows where the garage would be located?
I did submit one.
Do we have a copy of that? I see a
David,
survey, and
I think it's the last page in the
oh, last page of this?
application.
I have an extra copy if you need one.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see it.
Is there a reason you can't move it over to the left?
What, the garage?
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I mean, where it's going to end up right now, it's kind of behind the pool. I'm trying to keep it, further away from the pool if possible.
So looking at this, I see the house, obviously, then there's vinyl shelter, screen sitting area. Is that screen sitting area, is that a structure?
So it's it is. We have a CO for it. It's kind of like one of those pre-built shed gazebo things.
So are we looking at 3 accessory structures here?
Right.
And they're allowed
Two, so
2?
we'll have to
Is that
add-
on this variance also?
Yes, good call. We'll have to add that. He'd need that as a separate second variance.
Right.
Okay. Is the new garage going to have, I assume it has electric, but is it going to have plumbing, anything like that included?
No.
So what is the overhang for?
It's to store. I have a little compact tractor. It's just to store implements, get them out of the weather.
Do you have a lot of cars or something?
I wouldn't call it a lot. 5.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out why you'd need something that big.
Yeah. Eventually, we do want to get a camper, and I'm looking to be able to store it in the future. Just kind of thinking ahead.
So a lot of the times when we get these large structures, we ask the applicant to kind of show the need and kind of lay out why they need this size structure, whether it's kind of laying out, we have a lot of people that are car enthusiasts, obviously, in this town.
Yep.
So they'll lay out, the equipment that they plan to store in this garage.
Right.
It would be helpful just to get, an understanding of why the need for this size structure is
Okay.
needed on this size property.
Would that be good to just do on our site visit,
Yeah, well, we could do it then if you.
Okay.
Yeah.
rather than having it submitted before? Is that okay? So if you could just draw us up something for when we come for the site visit,
All right.
which we were gonna do on
The 11th or 8th.
February 8th?
Hey, would you consider reducing the size of this at all?
Not really. That's kind of what I'm set on.
Have you paid a deposit to the company?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah, unfortunately, to get drawings, they
Yeah.
want a deposit, so.
So, sir, we'll come out to your house on February 8th
Okay.
at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's a Saturday. If you can, I know the weather's a little iffy right now with the cold.
I'll have it marked up.
If you could stake it out for
Yep.
us, so we could just see where it's gonna be, exactly where it's gonna be on your property. We'd appreciate that. And also if you have some sort of marking of your property line
Okay.
that it's gonna be close to.
Yeah, there's a fence on the side where it's going to be built off of, so.
Okay, okay. Anything else, gentlemen?
Did you tell them about the stipulation? We've had a few of these, and they have to donate one classic car.
Yes, please.
Unfortunately, I don't have any of those right now.
No, so just the drawing, stake out the garage and the property line,
All right,
okay?
Will do.
When we come by.
sounds good.
Ladies, do you need anything else?
Yeah, I'll give you the signs.
Okay.
I'll update, the legal lyrics to add the,
Second
conditional
variance.
Okay, all righty.
You're welcome. We'll see you in a couple of weeks on a Saturday. Week and a half, week and three quarters.
The 8th.
In some ways it felt so slow, in other ways it felt so.
All righty then. That went well. Appeal number 24, 7837, an area variance, Joshua Indorf, seeking an area variance, section 24037, district regulations in an R4 2040 zoning district, where 20 feet to the side yard, right property line is required. The applicant can provide 1.5 feet for the construction of a barn, thus requesting a variance of 18.5 feet. The property is located at 2505 Route 9D on 0.56 acres and is identified as tax grid number 615701243907 in the town of Wappingers. And good evening, ma'am. Can I have your name?
Good evening. Yes, good evening, Chairman and members of the Zoning Board of Appeals. My name is Jessica Zalin. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Cuddy and Fader. I'm here tonight on behalf of the applicant, Joshua Indorf, who is the owner of 2505 Route 9D, in connection with his request for variance relief. A slight correction to the stated preamble. This is not to allow for the construction of a barn. It's to allow for the legalizing of the existing conditions on the property. There's an existing barn in its existing configuration that has already been constructed in this location, where the rear portion of the barn is only 1.5 feet from the property lot line. The property is currently developed with an existing two-story multifamily residence and this existing accessory barn. Both structures were initially constructed in approximately 1871. However, this barn was modified since. We don't know exactly when the barn was modified. Based on the historic aerial photos of the property, it looks like it was modified sometime in the 1980s. My client, Mr. Indorf, took title to the property in 2023. So the existing conditions predated his ownership. Prior to taking title to the premises, he had a title report prepared. The title report did not identify this existing condition as a violation at all. He did also obtain a violation report from the town, which identified a few issues which the former property owner had to resolve before ownership was transferred. It did not identify the location of the rear portion of the barn as something that was a violation, needed a variance. So he had no warning before he purchased the property that this was the case. He recently sought to do some repair work on his barn and submitted a building permit application ultimately, which was denied. The denial noted that a portion of the rear section of the barn had at some point in time been constructed without a permit and didn't comply with that 20-foot setback requirement.
So,
We are here today.
Here we are.
To request a variance of 18.5 feet to maintain the existing conditions on the premises.
Did you know his intended use for the barn?
It's an existing structure. I know it's been used for storage in the past. I know that he has some plans or aspirations of redevelopment, but right now, the building permit that he's seeking is to renovate and repair the barn. He had insurance coverage. His insurer, wrote a letter withdrawing coverage of that structure based on its existing physical conditions. So it's currently not insured. It doesn't have a functional roof. It doesn't have functional garage or back doors. And those features are needed in order for him to retain
So
coverage
the
and
intent is to
obtain-
keep it as an accessory storage structure, not residential, not habitable, livable space?
At the present time, he's seeking only to do repairs on the barn and is seeking to legalize the existing conditions of the barn so that he could perform those repairs. I know that he has been considering potential other uses for this structure. My office met with Ms. Roberti and Ms. Valk earlier, last year actually, to discuss some potential renovations. We haven't moved forward with any plans to do so. We haven't filed any applications. We're simply here to request to legalize the existing conditions on the property so that he can make this structure something that's viable and insurable in its current condition.
Did you have on the I guess the aerial photo, did you know where the demarcation line is between the town and the village? Is that just one property over?
I know it's
I believe so.
nearby. It's very close. I think it's right around there. I don't have the exact dimension of where.
No, again, like when we're looking at this, I think the context of the village is relevant potentially to the site. It's a bit of a unique condition in that respect.
Sure.
Yeah, I would be interested to know exactly where that is.
Okay.
I think it would potentially help you.
I believe the property next door was is the park entrance
It's a
now.
new parking lot for the park, right?
Is the parking
And
lot.
that's the
I
town,
believe-
and after that?
And I believe like 5 feet after that
Yeah.
is the village,
Yeah,
after that piece of property.
that sounds right.
'Cause I believe if it was 2 properties over, you would need, I believe, 5 feet is the setback required of the village
For the
for
village?
accessory structures.
Okay. I guess we will look into that.
Obviously, we're not in the village now.
Sure.
But it's very close.
There is a
Yeah.
map in your application. from
Yeah, I'm looking at
the
Exhibit A, I'm seeing a map.
It's faint near the top, but the property next door where the building was removed, it kind of cuts into it, do you see where I'm, like, into the middle of that property and back out, and the other side.
Are you
does
talking about this
belong
kind of
to the building.
diagonal line here, is that
It's
the
a
one?
different map I'm looking
Yeah,
at,
okay.
but,
Yeah, it's a very unusual line, yeah.
right.
Okay.
I also just wanted to note that the applicant was able to get letters in support and approval recommendations from his neighboring property owners on the other side. I have a copy of 2 of those letters, if I can submit them into the record at this time. Is that something that I can do now, or would you prefer me to make a formal submission during business hours?
I think that'd be better when you actually do the hearing, because that's when you open the record.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
It would be helpful to know, though, the end use, like if he does plan to try to convert this to residential, it would be good to know that now.
As I said, I think it's something he's entertained, but I don't know that he's moving forward with plans in the short term. I don't know if he will move forward with plans or not. But I know that right now what he's interested in is getting this covered. Having a structure on his property that's not insured is not a economically or
Does that say 9 inches in
Responsible
the front
decision.
part closest to 9D?
Yes, so the front of the barn, I know if you're looking at that drawing, there's like a larger square, that's the front section of the barn, and a
Right,
smaller
right.
rectangle, that's the back section of the barn. The front portion of the barn is a pre-existing non-conforming structure. It was constructed in the 1800s.
I'm just curious, what is the overhang?
We can look into that. So that front portion was not identified as something that we need to seek variance relief for since it's pre-existing non-conforming. It's really just that back portion was constructed at some point in time without a permit. We don't know when. We know it was sometime 1980 or in the 1980s, but we don't know when precisely.
So Barbara, in the past, even with existing older buildings, we've tried to legalize things, just so that they have an easier time with it in the future, and it's kind of clean. Would you want that to also be, or would we want to add that?
Well, I think if you grant the variance to the back section, I mean, we can change it to the smaller number. And I've done that sometimes to just clean it up. But the front section doesn't require a variance, the fact that it was built so long ago prior to zoning. So really, the only issue legally, I think, at hand is the back section.
if the file contains a determination that it pre-exists the zoning, that should be sufficient for any future title purposes. So the record would show that the addition of roughly 1980s was legalized at this time.
And it's unclear where the 1980s addition is that, we're kind of guessing off of aerial photos, is that?
We're looking at the aerial photos, so we don't have precise dimensions, but that back structure, that back rectangle, appears on historic aerial photos as early as within the 1980s. So we
Okay.
know it happened sometime in that range. I think it's definitely there in the 90s photo. It's there in the 80s photo. I think the prior ones are in the 70s, so I don't know if it happened in 1980 or 1989. But I know there is a depiction on that historic aerial that shows something in that portion of the property, in that rear portion behind the barn.
Yeah,
behind
back then, the aerials
prior.
were pretty much in 10-year increments.
Yeah, they're pretty grainy,
So
all
we
of them, so-
can't tell you, as Jessica has mentioned, exactly when. We just know that it wasn't there in the 1970 photo, but it's clearly there in the 1980
Right.
and 90.
Right, and again, my client, Mr. Endorf, purchased the property in 2023, so that's significantly after this piece of the property came into being.
Okay.
Yep.
Answer your questions?
Yep.
Chris?
No questions at this
Got
time.
anything further? Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come out and see the property.
Okay,
We'll stop out there on February 8th. It's a Saturday at 9:30 in the morning. If you could, just please have the property line marked for us alongside of the barn, as best it can be done. You know, I mean, I know weather is a little, to do things like drive stakes and stuff like that is a little hard right now, but as best it can be done, it would be appreciated that we could see
sure.
where the property line is. Other than that, I think that'll do it, right? So we'll be out there on the 8th at 9:30, and then we'll schedule your public hearing for February 11th at 7 PM.
Okay,
Okay?
great.
And that's it. Other than that, go see Bea. She's got a little homework for you to do,
Great,
and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
okay. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So I'm curious if the board has the appetite this evening, if I could update you on two matters in an attorney-client session
Yeah, make a motion to move into executive session.
for purposes of attorney-client privilege.
A second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.